Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 17, Integrated Marketing Communication chapter. Throughout this class, we have focused our attention on how firms create value by developing products and services. However, consumers are not likely to come flocking to new products and services unless they are aware of them. Therefore, marketers must consider how to communicate the value of a product or service, or more specifically, the value proposition needs to be created in a considerate way, strategically, for the target market. A company must develop a communication strategy to demonstrate the value of its products or services. Therefore, in this chapter, we will discuss what is integrated marketing communication, and the acronym is IMC, how it has been developed, and how it contributes to value creation of a company. The acronym of Integrated Marketing Communication is IMC. So throughout this video, when I say IMC, make sure that you know it means Integrated Marketing Communications. So we have covered in our previous chapter, in chapter 14, the price P of the marketing mix. As you know, marketing mix has 4 P's: product, price, place, and promotion. And with this chapter, we are going to review the promotion P, because IMC represents the promotion P of the 4 P's. In our next chapters, chapter 18 and 19, we will cover one by one each tool that is used by IMC, which are again belong to the promotion P of the marketing mix. So let's start with the understanding of what IMC is. Again, IMC is the acronym of Integrated Marketing Communications. And in my following slides, we will cover each element of IMC. IMC encompasses a variety of communication disciplines, namely advertising, personal selling, sales promotion, public relations, and direct marketing. IMC uses all these tools in combination to provide clarity, consistency, and maximum communicative impact. Each element of an integrated marketing communication strategy must have a well-defined purpose and support, and it should extend the message delivered by all the other elements. Instead of consisting of separated marketing communications elements with no unified control, IMC programs regard each of the firm's marketing communications elements as a part of a whole, each of which offers a different means to connect with the target audience. This integration of elements provide the company with the best means to reach the target audience with the desired message, and it enhances the value story by offering a clear and consistent message. When you are using IMC strategy, all your stakeholders should have a unified voice with a consistent image. By stakeholders, I'm talking about your employees, your vendors, your advertising campaign, all your communication about your brand. This picture that a Pepsi employee drinking Coke in a Pepsi truck definitely damages the image of Pepsi, because even the employee chooses Coke, which is the main competitor of Pepsi, over Pepsi brand. So definitely this doesn't tell us that Pepsi has a successful IMC campaign, including their employees in. This was a case when I was an undergrad student that my professor showed me. I'm still using the same image because it clearly tells us what IMC is not. The focus of IMC can be understood better when we compare the integrated marketing communication with the traditional marketing communications. In the traditional marketing communications, the focus was on transactions, money, give the money and get the goods. However, with integrated marketing communication, the focus is on creating relationships with the customers, with our consumers, potential consumers. In the traditional marketing communications, the focus was on consumers, was on customers. In integrated marketing communications, as I gave you the example in my previous slide about Pepsi, the focus is actually on all stakeholders who have an impact on our business. Traditional marketing communication was focused on one communication strategy to many, so it was mass marketing communication, while with IMC, our focus is one to few, and we adapt our communication, we adapt our message to segmented markets. The traditional marketing communication was product driven, while IMC is customer driven, which also overlaps with the focus of creating relationships with the customers. We put the customer at the center, and we are trying to reach them with specialized, customized messages to create relationships. So, what are the benefits of IMC? Of course, clarity. We avoid giving conflicting messages because all our stakeholders are giving the same clear message about our brand and the value that we are offering to our customers. Consistency is the second benefit. All messages convey the core values, attributes of a corporate identity and a brand. And synergy, because we are giving the same message in a consistent and clear way from different channels, all these messages reinforce each other through repetition and development and create a synergy. So our IMC mix tool has 5 main tools, as I already mentioned in my second slide. Advertising, personal selling, sales promotion, public relations, and direct marketing. Advertising, public relations, and sales promotion will be discussed in chapter 18 in a very detailed way. And personal selling and direct marketing are the topics of chapter 19, which I will cover one by one. Here, I'm not going to go in very deep, but just briefly, I want to explain what are these tools. Advertising, as you know, are from print advertising on billboards to print advertising on magazine, newspapers to TV commercials or radio spots. You can reach many buyers. You repeat the message in different media many times. They are not customized. They are for masses. Advertising is expensive tool to use for your communication campaign. Personal selling needs professional sellers. You have a personal interaction with the customer. It's a good way of creating relationships, building relationships, and it is one of the most expensive promotion tools because you pay professional sellers to go door by door or one by one and sell your product. Sales promotion have wide assortment of tools, which I will cover in chapter 18. It brings you quick response because of the rewards that you are offering. However, your efforts are short-lived. You don't create long-term relationships with your customers. Public relations is one of the most valuable IMC tools. They are very believable. They create trustworthiness. You dramatize a company's product or service. Public relations are underutilized nowadays by the companies, but its value is getting understood day by day. And direct marketing is creating immediate results. You customize your marketing efforts by reaching your target market from their mailboxes or with their zip codes or emails. But it is interactive. It's basically one-side communication. You send your brochures, catalogs, and you wait for a response from your customers. After being exposed to marketing communications, consumers go through several steps before actually buying or taking some other action. There is not always a direct link between a particular form of marketing communications and a consumer's purchase. To create effective IMC programs, marketers must understand how marketing communications work. Generally, marketing communications move consumers stepwise through a series of mental stages for which there are several models that marketers use. The most common model is the AIDA model, which suggests that awareness leads to interest, which leads to desire, which leads to action. At each stage, the consumer makes judgments about whether to take the next step in the process or not. Even the best marketing communications can be wasted if the sender doesn't gain the attention of the consumer first. Brand awareness refers to a potential customer's ability to recognize or recall that the brand name is a particular type of retail or product. Therefore, brand awareness is the strength of the link between the brand name and the type of merchandise or service in the minds of customers. For example, when I say Colgate, if you know exactly and you recall that Colgate is a toothpaste, that means that Colgate as a brand has a strong brand awareness in the market because you know what it stands for and what is it. It's oral health care brand that sells various types of oral care products. Once the consumer is aware that the company or product exists in the market, communication must work to increase his or her interest level. It isn't enough to let people know that the product exists in the market because consumers also must be persuaded that it's a product worth investigating, worth looking for, worth doing a search on it. That's why the advertising messages should include attributes that are of interest to the target audience, that will catch the attention of the target audience, that will make them interested in to your product. After the company has piqued the interest of its target market, the goal of the IMC messages should move the consumer from I like it stage, which is the interest stage in the AIDA model, to I want it stage to create the desire to go and buy the product. The ultimate goal of any form of marketing communications is to drive the receiver to action, to go and actually buy the product. As long as the message has caught consumers' attention and made them interested enough to consider the product as a means to satisfy a specific desire of theirs, they will likely act on that interest by either searching for the product or making the purchase. Sometimes, on the other hand, consumers don't act immediately after receiving or being exposed to a form of marketing communications because of the lagged effect. Lagged effect is a delayed response to a marketing communications campaign. It generally takes several exposures to an advertising before a consumer fully processes its message. That's why measuring the effect of a current campaign becomes more difficult because of the possible lagged response to a previous one. What does lagged effect means? For example, you see a hair product that is advertised in a commercial. It's a new brand, and after being exposed to it a couple of times on social media or print advertising in a magazine or TV, you have an interest to look for it. However, you have some other products at home that you are currently using, and you don't want to go and buy the new product until they are all finished. That's why you wait a couple of weeks to go and buy the product. That's called lag effect. Your response is not immediately, but a later time. Same happens with your wish list items. You wait to save to buy the product that you are interested in. So sometimes the campaign might be over, the advertising campaign is not actually broadcasted anymore, but the product was in your interest. That's why you were saving for it. So you are going to buy the product after a year or after a couple of months, which makes it difficult for marketers to understand the effect of their marketing communication campaign, because the action comes in a later time for because of various reasons. For any communications campaign to succeed, the firm must deliver the right message to the right audience through the right media, with the ultimate goal of profiting from long term customer relationships rather than just short term transactions. Because, as I said, with the IMC, our focus is on building relationships, not just making short term transactions. No single channel is necessarily better than another channel, and the goal of IMC is to use them in conjunction so that the sum exceeds the total of the individual channels. However, advances in technology have led to a variety of new and traditional media options for consumers. So consumers are exposed more than ever to different from different channels to different brand messages. Please note that as the marketer's repertoire of IMC tools has expanded, also the ways in which marketers can communicate with their customers expanded. Look at the metrics, please. As you see, direct marketing appears in all four boxes. You can use, for example, direct marketing as an offline or also as an online, interactive or passive communication tool. Direct marketing is one of the traditional media tools, like advertising, public relations, and sales promotions, which are all traditional tools. However, in today's marketing environment, we see that marketers are not using pure offline approaches and passive approaches, but they combine offline and online interactive and passive tools all together. In chapter 18, as I said, we will discuss the purpose of advertising and its various types of advertising that is used in today. But for now, I want to tell you that the advertising is extremely effective for creating awareness of a product or service and to generate the interest in the AIDA model. Public relations, another traditional media tool. The public relation activities support the other promotional efforts by the company to generate free media attention and media coverage. And we will discuss again the details in chapter 18. Sales promotions are special incentives or excitement building programs that encourage the purchase of a product or service by using, I'm sure you're all familiar, coupons, rebates, contests, and free samples or point of purchase displays. Again, the topic of chapter 18 covers sales promotions in detail and all the tools that we use for sales promotion. Personal selling is the topic of chapter 19. It's a two-way flow of communication between a buyer and a seller that is designed to influence the buyer's purchase decision. And lastly, as I said, direct marketing, which is a component of IMC, has received the greatest increase, greatest attention from marketers and from marketing spendings recently, because it can be used both in an interactive and passive way or online and offline way. For example, if you want to use a passive online direct marketing, you can use email marketing by sending emails about your product and promotions to people's emails inboxes. If you want to use interactive but online direct marketing, social media is a great tool, or mobile marketing. If you want to use interactive and offline, then you use telemarketing. So you call your target audience phone or mobile numbers. And if you want to use offline and passive direct marketing, you send catalogs and brochures to the mailboxes of your target audience by using the zip codes that they are living in geographically. Again, I'm not going to cover here, but several electronic media tools such as websites, blogs, and social media gained attention as an IMC tool in IMC programs. Especially blogs and bloggers, vloggers, influencers are becoming more interactive as the communication between them and customers increased. In chapter 3, we will have a greater discussion on digital marketing, online marketing, and social media marketing. We continue this chapter by examining how marketers set strategic goals before implementing any IMC campaign. After marketers have established those goals, they can set the budget for the campaign and choose the marketing metrics they will use to evaluate whether it has achieved its strategic objectives or not. As with any strategic uh, goal undertaking, companies need to understand the outcome they hope to achieve before they begin. These goals can be short term, such as generating inquiries, increasing brand awareness, and prompting trial, or they can be long term in nature, such as increasing sales eventually, increasing the market share, and increasing customer loyalty or creating customer loyalty. Regardless of their measure or changes, goals constitute part of the overall promotional plan, which is usually a subsection of the firm's marketing plan. Another part of the promotional plan that is very important and we will discuss next is the budget. Firms use a variety of methods to plan their marketing communications budgets. Because all the methods of setting a promotional budget have both advantages and disadvantages, I cannot tell you that one method should be used in isolation. They should be considered as a whole, and each company should decide which one works best for their marketing goals. The objective and task method determines the budget required to undertake specific tasks to accomplish communication objectives. To use this method, marketers first establish a set of communication objectives, then determine which media best reach the target market they're trying to reach, and how much it will cost to run the number and types of communications necessary to achieve the objectives. This process is starting with setting the objectives, such as create awareness of the new product among 20% of the target market. This is your objective. Then you determine the specific task, what you need to do for this objective. You need to advertise on market area, television and radio and local newspapers. So you choose the media that is needed to establish the objective, and then you determine the cost, how much you need in order to accomplish with this task. Determine cost of the advertising and on television, radio and local newspapers, and then you repeated this method for each product that you have in your product line, and you monitor and adjust accordingly for each product and service. You monitor the performance and adjust the steps. You go back and you repeat the adjustments for each product if you think that it doesn't help you to reach the promotion goal that you set it in the beginning. In addition to the objective and task method, various rule of thumb methods can be used to set budgets. These rule of thumb methods use prior sales and communication activities to determine the present communication budget. For example, in competitive parity, the communication budget is set so that the firm's share of communication expenses equals its share of the market. In percentage of sales, the communication budget is a fixed percentage of forecasted sales, And in available budget method, marketers forecast their sales and expenses, excluding communication during the budgeting period. The difference between the forecast sales and expenses plus the desired profit is reserved for the communication budget. That is, the communication budget is the money available after operating costs and profits have been budgeted. Although these rule of thumb methods are easy to implement, they have various limitations. For example, competitive parity does not allow companies to exploit the unique opportunities or problems they confront in a market. If all competitors use this method to set communication budgets, their market shares will stay approximately the same over time. A percentage of sales assumes the same percentage used in the past or by competitors is still appropriate for the company. So it does not take into account new plans. For example, if you're going to introduce a new line of products in the current year, it does not take into account this new plan. And which, because you need bigger budget when you are introducing a new line of product. And the disadvantage of available budget method is that it assumes communication expenses do not stimulate sales and profit. Clearly, as you see from the examples, budgeting is not a simple process. It may take several rounds of negotiations among the various managers who are each competing for resources for their own areas of responsibility to devise a final IMC budget. And again, as the technological advances are keep developing and we have more channels and more tools to reach the customers, creating an IMC campaign and an IMC budget becomes even more complicated. But the best way, as I said, for an IMC campaign is to combine offline and online method and create a campaign in conjunction with traditional and new media to reach the target audience in a better way with a synergy, with a consistent message. Let's review what we have covered in this chapter. I described the various integrative communication channels. I described the IMC tools, and I told you that there are 5 tools: advertising, public relations, direct marketing, personal selling, and sales promotion. I explained the 4 steps in the AIDA model: awareness, interest, desire, and action. And I explained the methods used to allocate the integrated marketing communications budget. If you have any questions about this chapter, please don't hesitate to contact me from my email.